I assure you. I don't know what the hell that was. Just went all glitchy McGee on me. I assure you. All right, fucking seriously. Come on. I streamed this early and apparently it takes offense. Okay, screw it. I'm going back to the opening again. There. See? There's the middle finger. Don't give a fuck. YouTube. Take that with you. And here. Here's the Clerks 3 trailer.
Somebody get over it. That's how we did it in the 90s, son.
Can't catch my breath, man.
Really? Should I try mouth stuff?
What is this, a Tinder date? Get off of me. Oh, shit.
Mr. Dante! I need an ambulance at the Quick Stop.
Saved my life, man. Wish I had a life worth saving.
What are you talking about?
Sit around and watch the same movies over and over.
I always thought you could have made a cool movie.
You're right. I'm living on borrowed time. No more watching movies. I'm gonna make a movie!
What's the movie gonna be about?
It's about him working here.
Meta.
Everything in the script is something either me or someone I know said. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Maybe Jay and Silent Bob could be characters.
Jay and Silent Bob are like C-3PO and R2-D2. They've been here since the first movie, which was the last time they were cool. But they've been with the franchise so long, they still give them cameos and put them on the lunchboxes.
Snifty Booches. Please tell me I believe in you.
You put in that stuff you used to say about the Death Star contractors.
Get sued by Disney? No way.
Now that's what I call acting!
Take off your pants.
What the hell is this?
I added a scene where you get shot.
I'm not letting you kill me off in the third act. What if there's a sequel?
A sequel? What am I, a hack?
I think it needs more weed.
Ugh. Okay, there you go. That's the Clerks 3 trailer. Enjoy the shit out of that. Because the best part about that is nothing in the trailer. It's the fact that it's under 2 minutes long. Unlike the movie. Now, I've said this before. We can bring you on if you'd like to talk about this, but honestly, I have nothing to defend this movie. So, let me just start off by saying that yes, I was very much a Kevin Smith fan. I thought what he did back in 93 or 94 with the original Clerks was gutsy and avant-garde, and it even really tapped into the zeitgeist of the culture at that time. It's very much a Gen X movie. And me, of course, I am a Gen X. Gen Xer? Yeah, Gen Xer. And I was very enamored with the career path of Kevin Smith. Even when he did Mallrats and they tanked him on it. I thought Mallrats was what it was. A stupid, silly, fun waste of a couple hours. Good popcorn movie. And, you know, when he started the Askewniverse.com online, I jumped in because I really wanted to be supportive of something that I enjoyed watching. Well, that kind of blew up in my face because legit, the more I watched Kevin Smith, the more I saw a decline. And he always does that self-deprecating bullshit. Like, oh, well, I'm not a really good filmmaker, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's what you hire a fucking DP for, you dumbass. To get it visually in line with what's in your brain. I don't know anybody out there right now that isn't doing mini, micro, or no budget films that does not have a DP. There's got to be somebody that's in charge of that when you're in charge of all the other shit. And he's a decent script writer. I honestly would never call him in to script doctor anything that I've ever written. But he's a decent script writer. And there was a continuing decline, starting with Kevin Smith's work. Now, the only thing that I will give him that, I guess, spiked the life meter up a little bit was Dogma. And Dogma had some pretty good actors in it. I think that was the first time that he had ever had A-list or what were to become A-list actors. Alan Rickman, brilliant. He had Damon and Affleck in it. They looked very relaxed. I enjoyed their characterizations. Even Jay and Silent Bob, like in a restrained amount, in a little bit. Always were interesting. Being given their own movie, not once, but twice, yeah, there's a mistake. But then again, with the first movie, they surrounded them with a shit ton of actors. Basically, people who wanted to do cameos. Oh, yeah, and definitively, I'd never shit on Carlin. Carlin could have gone on stage for 30 minutes and snored, and I still would have appreciated his timbre. But then it started to slip. I mean, him doing the Universe stuff already should have raised red flags when it didn't. And like I said, Kevin Smith will never be known as one of the greatest movie makers ever. He has a shit ton of very loyal supporters. I mean, very loyal. There are some hardcore, die hard out there. And fine. You know, let them roll. Go ahead. I'm not going to get in the way of your idol worshiping. If that's what in fact it is. If it's not, I'm not going to apologize for sounding extreme. But there is, I think the only thing that he ever put out, once you got past the once you set aside the Universe stuff, was when he did An Evening with Kevin Smith. He's a very good talker. Kevin Smith is a very good bullshitter. But those stopped being funny after about the third or fourth one. Well, after about the second or third one. He showed legitimately how inept he was the farther along he went. Jersey Girl, I actually thought was a very well shot movie. Not necessarily a very good movie. Like I said, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, that's a lot of having to deal with, hey, we've got a lot of cameos. It's a cameo fest. And that, yeah, I think Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because Chasing Amy was cute, but it had one of the dumbest premises ever. And that is, as long as you can fuck somebody of the opposite sex who's gay, then they're going to no longer be gay. What? I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say no in a big way. If you're gay, you're gay. You can't be conditioned out of it. Ask the guys and gals that hid in closets in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. You don't just kind of work through being gay by getting dicked down or dicking a woman down. Just doesn't work. And people hailing it as such an LGBT-friendly movie. It is not an LGBT-friendly movie. Go back and watch it again. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Now, there could be some people out there questioning who found it easier to live in a gay lifestyle. I've talked to people that's happened where they're just like, I gave up on men, or I gave up on women. I've heard that too. Come on. I've been on the planet for just under 6 decades. I've heard it before everything ever became social justicey. So, yeah, I'm going to have to throw that baby out with the bathwater. Bye. See you later. Like I said, there's 3 movies that Kevin Smith did that I actually liked. The original Clerks, Mallrats, and Dogma. And then everything else, just, you could see it, like, I know the artists out there, when they're mixing their palette colors, if you try to mix too many colors into it, or an old color, it just goes brown. Just turns to shit. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was cute. Not awesome. As a matter of fact, I bought the DVD just so I could listen to the actor commentary. And let's see. Then he did Jersey Girl. Oh, and let's not forget, like every 10 years, he re-releases Clerks. Adds a little bit extra to it so he can get those people who've already bought it to buy it again. Yeah, don't think I didn't see that. You let your shit hang on their own merits, not put it out again every 10 years. Then he did the same thing with Mallrats. He did the same thing with Dogma. He did the same thing with Chasing Amy. He didn't do the same thing with Jersey Girl. And then, of course, a couple years after that, he puts out Clerks 2. Once again, very inferior. I don't know where his brain's going at this point, because he thinks that he needs to add a dance number to Clerks. Remember the old black and white, fingers clearly on the pulse of the current generation? Well, yeah. I don't remember any of our current generation going, you know what would have made Clerks better? A dance number. Yeah, that's what we need. We need a dance number. Fuck off. Really? Seriously. And then the slide continued with Zach and Miri make a porno, which he thought he was so funny casting Tracy Lords in it. And from people that I've talked to who were in the industry at the same time Tracy Lords was in the industry, she's a no, we don't want you around. She's a non-entity. She is persona non grata because, and this is only what I've been told, and through speculation by others who were in the industry, that people knew she was 16. Actually, she was 15 when she started making pornos. And I don't care to give somebody another chance. That is, I mean, right off the bat, she knows that it's CP because she is the C in the P. Holy fuck. And Seth Rogen, I've never found Seth Rogen funny. Stoner humor was funny when Cheech and Chong did it back in the 70s. But I legitimately couldn't get through Pineapple Express. It was so bad. And not even talking about his superhero turn with the Green Hornet. So yeah, then he goes out on his own. He decides he's going to sack up and just be a director for the movie Cop Out, which was a script written by one of his friends. Cop Out was abysmal. Now, he shit talks Bruce Willis all the time. But apparently, he and Bruce have made friends now. I don't care anymore. But that was a total piece of shit. It was a horrible movie. I actually almost bought the DVD, but when I saw that there was no director's commentary on it, I didn't want anything to do with it because I wanted to see how he'd backpedal out of that. But no, he didn't. Instead, the next year, he gets funded Red State. And I don't know where he was going with Red State. It's kind of like trying to play a piano with a tin ear. He just didn't know how to do it. I mean, he was hitting notes. Yeah, sure. But he was not hitting anything that would make a pleasant tune. But he did learn one thing. He learned Roadshow made a lot of money. That'll come in later in the story. Next up, he did Tusk. What? You know what? If there's anybody in the audience right now who likes Tusk, get the fuck out of the chat. That was a goddamn horrible movie with the exception of the special effects that they did. I think it was Berger and Nicotero from the formerly K&B. I mean, that looked great, but you know what? You can have the shiniest set piece in the world, but when you don't have anything to go around it, and I include Johnny Depp's performance, when you try to say that this one element is going to be everything, then you're doing it wrong. There's a thing called storytelling. And you, who have stepped up and said that you are a writer, have mentioned this more than once. And yet, the whole premise was bullshit that you wrote when you were stoned. That you came up with on a podcast when you were fucking high. And people were washing your balls going, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And you went, you got funding, and the only reason why you got funding is because you got Johnny Depp in it. And the only reason why you got Johnny Depp in it is because you let his daughter have a small bit part. And then promises of the next movie to come, which was Yoga Hosers. So yeah, another fucking bad movie. That goes into another bad movie. You know, honestly, I had no hopes whatsoever for Yoga Hosers to be any good. Because it was a movie that was made as a vehicle for his daughter and for Johnny Depp's daughter. And I'm not going to say that Johnny Depp's daughter can't act. She was actually kind of decent in it. The vibe I got from his daughter, from Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley, was, yeah, you know, my dad wrote and directed this, so I'm in it. That's what it felt like. The same fucking entitlement that made his wife keep popping up in all these fucking movies. And she stated that she's not an actress. I agree. She's not. So stop doing it. And thank God she's of the age now that she's also no longer wanting to do the pose for Playboy or do that weird fucking movies tit flash thing in Clerks 2. But I digress. Okay. So Yoga Hosers. You want to cross your fingers and hope and pray that he can pull this out. So 3 years later, guess what pops out of the poopy butthole? Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Now, remember I said I was going to come back to that whole roadshow thing. Now keep in mind that these movies are paid for, and then he goes on the road shows. Now, how the road show usually works, because they tried this with the Jay and Silent Bob cartoon, which I'm not even really going to mention, but they tried this with the Jay and Silent Bob cartoon to where they bought theater time, and they played it in theaters to where fans around the world can come and see it. And then they did a live Q&A with whatever audience they were at, wherever movie theater they were. That really didn't make a lot of money. But here, what if you could actually go and see not only Silent Bob, but you could also see Jay too in person. You get to hear him talk. How much is that worth to you? Well, apparently, when I was down in Tennessee visiting my brother in 2018, I believe it was, we're also, secondarily, we were down there for the Knoxville fight that nobody showed up to, but I still cosplayed as Mr. Medicare. So I got that. Oops. No, get away, cat. I'm serious. Last thing I need you to do is fall over and fall on the heater. Apologies, I'm back. So, when I was down in Knoxville, it was either 2018 or 2019. You guys can, correct me on it as it goes. I think it was 2019. Almost sure it was 2019. So anyway, my brother was like, I got a surprise for you. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I'm like, yeah, duh. Because a surprise means you're surprised by it. So yeah, if you tell me right up front and then we go do whatever the surprise is, you have thusly killed the surprise. So I'm there for the whole weekend. I get there on a Friday and I leave again on a Sunday. Well, his surprise was we drove to Chattanooga where the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow was going on. Alistair, I'm sure you're wrong. But I was on the YouTubes around then. Just not under this image. So, he takes me down there. And I will say this right up front. I've been to audience participation shows, right? I mean, Rocky Horror, I'm in the triple digits. What can I say? It was something to do on a Saturday night. So we get there, and this is where I knew that he had become a money whore. That he was selling his image to make money. And I already thought he made money. I already thought he had good bank. You know, nice place in Hollywood. Got a wife. Beard. Got a kid. Good. But the amount of money I saw change hands for this. And my brother wouldn't tell me how much he paid for tickets. But we were up on the high tier, nosebleed seats, probably maybe 1,000, 1,500 seat arena. Music hall. Guess that's a better description of it. And I swear to fucking Christ. Well, if I believed into him. Okay, wait. I swear to Jesus, greatest lawn man available, that anytime a cameo hit the screen, they went nuts. Anytime there was an old character that showed up, they went nuts. So much so, you couldn't even make out, I would say, a good 70% of the dialogue. Or they would laugh a little bit too much. Kind of like that uncle of yours who gets really, really drunk at Thanksgiving and tells jokes and laughs way too much at his own jokes. Yeah, just like that. And it was a miserable experience. Then he came on and did a Q&A. And he excused himself because they had to fit in a second show in order to meet audience demand. Yeah. And I found out later that many people who go to the second show have bought tickets. Oh, Slayer Raven, I'm not getting a shovel. So, anyway it goes, he was making, this was more money than he would have ever made than by releasing this turd in theaters. So, that's why he went roadshow. I think that's the reason why he went roadshow with Red State and all the other films after that. Because of the fact that he knew that he had a very dedicated fan base and that they would buy anything. And that they would shell over, like Field of Dreams. They'll just hand you over the $20, not even thinking about it. Because, I don't know, there's still people, I guess, who wanted to believe. Who wanted some type of connection with small town Jersey guy who made it big. And honestly, if it hadn't have been for some of the others that when they saw the original Clerks movie said, no, you have to do this, you have to do this. I mean, he wanted to stick with because he thought it was all edgy boy. Well, before edgy boys existed. But he thought it was all edgy boy to shoot the main character at the end of the show. And the people who were in the business at the time were like, what the hell are you talking about? This is stupid. This is bullshit. This has been a light movie that's a social commentary. You should end it when Randall throws Dante his jacket. And he did. And that's what made Miramax take a look at it. And that's why Miramax picked it up. I mean, hell, even Miramax paid more to redo the soundtrack on this movie than the movie actually cost. Because they saw something in it. It captured the zeitgeist. Now, honestly, I feel kind of sorry for Kevin at that point. Because that's the best thing he would ever do. And honestly, I think he knew it. I think he knew that he lucked out. Small town boy did good. You know, completely lucked out. He dug through a huge pile of shit and found a pony. But that's the only pony that was going to be in that pile. So, the reason why I kind of bring up the road show, because that was the definitive cash grab. That he knew, not a good movie maker, but he knew if he could get in, get out, make his nut, then he's gone. I don't begrudge a man making money. I do begrudge a man who is almost to the point of idolatry. Because you remember, he was the wisecracking guy. He was the guy who became the pop culture zeitgeist. You know, telling Tim Burton Batman stories, telling the Prince stories. I mean, even for some extent, telling the Bruce Willis story. He'll never sell out. He's one of us, guys. He's a geek. He's a nerd. Well, that didn't last very long. Because there were slow and subtle signs. Like in the early teens, when he started hosting the IMDb at the San Diego Comic-Con. When he cranked out more merchandise over and over again. Oh, yeah, but this is a different variant. You really need to buy this. I mean, let's give him credit where credit is due. He's an incredible huckster. He knew. He hit oil on his first strike. But he continued to dig hole after hole after hole. Finding nothing. And I have to go back to the Chattanooga Roadshow. Because not only did I know that my brother was paying too much, I backed off. I didn't do it. But he did say in the abbreviated Q&A, because since we went to the first show, our Q&A had to be shorter so he could meet movie time. He did say that the next thing down the pipe was Clerks 3. Because there was somebody who had held out. Somebody who said no, they weren't going to do Clerks. And that somebody was Randall. Or I should say the guy who played Randall. And to me, that's where the wheels kind of went off the wagon, because I went back and researched a wee bit. And I found out that Jeff Anderson, the guy who played Randall, they kind of promised some things left and right that Kevin Smith didn't deliver on. Then Randall came back, I think, for a bit part in Chasing Amy. Well, sorry. Jeff Anderson. Or no, wait a minute. I don't think he came. Did he come back for that? No. He didn't come back because he was very incredibly unhappy. Because Smith got a good payout. Smith got a good piece of change from Clerks. And from all the interviews that weren't trying to polish Kevin Smith's knob in the hopes that he'd cast them again, he was pretty stingy with the money. That the money that he saw from signing the Miramax deal and from, being given the ability to make more movies, he got his nut there, but he never paid back the original cast. He never said, here's a profit sharing thing. Because really, it's one of those Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland, let's go put on a show. And amazingly, it did hit. I mean, this could have ended up not even in a $1 DVD discount bin. Had it not been for a series of very lucky things and certain people pushing it. But Kevin never paid anybody back. And legit, there are a lot of people saying, fuck you, I'll never work with you again. As a matter of fact, he came back for Dogma for a brief character. And he got paid just basically as a throwaway actor. More than likely, he got nutted out at scale. Anyhow, that was the point when Kevin decided to approach him with doing Clerks 2. Or no, wasn't that? It was on the set of Jay and Silent Bob. Because he reprised Randall. And he said, you got to make it worth my while. He said, okay. And so he strings him along. They do a couple of TV shorts and all this shit. And they get to Clerks 2. And Clerks 2, he did the whole thing, if it's successful, we make bank, blah, blah, blah. Then, you're gonna receive some shit out of it. You're gonna make back because you're one of the lead characters. Well, shit happened. They really didn't do much as far as bank goes. This was before road shows happened. So once again, he got a basic acting fee and then completely shut out. And from what's been told to me, Kevin Smith makes a lot of these guys show up and or make cameos for scale, which scale is nothing. Scale is like a 2-day cocaine habit for somebody in Hollywood. So after that experience, he was pretty bitter. He said some things that I thought were heartfelt and which sounded pretty fucking legitimate. But he said he had no interest in revisiting the characters, ever. So, Kevin finally writes something that he can present to Jeff Anderson. And Jeff Anderson takes a look at it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't know whether or not the script changed. But it was what Jeff Anderson agreed to. He also was fielding all the, you know what, let's complete the trilogy. Oh, Star Wars was a trilogy, so, you know, that's what they were going with. And by the way, anybody who wants to pop on, they certainly can do that. Just hit to the waiting room, and some of you already have the ability to cross over into the IRS. But yeah, so I don't know what the fallout's going to be from this movie. But I do know this is the end of Clerks. This was not a good movie. We don't want any more of this. As a matter of fact, I don't think... No, I know. I don't want any more View Askewniverse. Let it die. Make your additional money doing something completely different. I mean, you've been shilling out so much. And the only reason why people are hiring you on shit like IMDb and to do the Masters of the Universe and to do your Daredevil run was just because you had nerd cred. You had complete and total nerd cred. That's it. That's all you had. And you sold it. You sold it out. And very cheaply, from what I'm thinking. What you were known for. It don't exist no more. You shit on it so much that nobody wants to see it. Now, from what I'm looking at, for the Clerks tour, and this was cheaper than when it was in my area. When it was in my area, it was $60 a ticket. I believe it was like $60. And what I just looked up is it's like $40 with whatever. Anyway, the point being is if you can fill up a 500-seater and the only thing you have to do is digitally project a movie on a screen in a place where there's already a screen, you don't have to bring your own. And of course, the thing that was the most was the merchandising counter. I mean, I've seen people be obsessive during rock concerts to make sure that they got their concert t-shirt, but these people were fucking insane. I mean, I went in and I'm just like, you know what? I'll get a shirt, but I get a shirt afterwards. Nursey, I was with her at the time. I promised I'd get her a shirt. So that thing was at least 10 people deep. And when I came back out, it started off at about 5 people deep and then ended up to be 14, 15, 16 people deep. Just amazing the amount of money that was made. So the only thing that I will conclude is that he was legitimately in it for nothing but the money. Because if you are an artiste, then you kind of give a shit about your art. You kind of really want to make sure what you're putting up there is the best product that you can put up there, that you're not stoned off your fucking ass while you're writing it. Because you know what? Being stoned does not make you a better writer. Being stoned does not make you a better director. And really, I think when he started smoking pot a lot, and that was about the time of Red State, he dropped the ball on his game. I will give him no credit for making any movies that will be memorable to me. Well, you know, with Alzheimer's, for me in 5 or 6 years. People simply don't give a shit. These are not movies that you go, hey, you need to watch this with me, with your kids. Or even, you know, like, hey, I got this movie called Star Wars that you've never seen. And you plug it in and let your grandkids watch it. He had a chance to create some type of geek legacy. And he shat all over it. Just, I mean, I'm talking about taking antibiotics for 3 months, shit all over it. It was messy and unattractive. His whole career, from Red State on. So, if anybody does want to drop in, of course, if you're in the ward, then just come into the waiting room and I'll get you right in. Okay, I've rambled for about 50 minutes. Let's talk about Clerks 3, shall we? It's all building up to this. Because when I heard Kevin Smith at the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow goes, Clerks 3 is a go. Everybody who needs to be signed on, who's critical to this movie, has been signed. So I'm like, oh, he got Jeff Anderson. He must have really sucked it up, put on his writer's hat from Clerks 1, got his fucking A game going. Awesome. I sincerely hope this is a redemption cycle. I put all my faith in, hopefully, Kevin Smith redeeming himself. Coming back to the art. Doing something like, oh gee, I don't know, since I was a Gen Xer, why don't we talk about a Gen Xer now, at that age, at your late 40s, your early mid 50s, yeah, even late. Anyway, talk about your age range. Talk about what you know. But you know what? He couldn't. Because he's been stoned out of his fucking mind. He's had such a disconnect from those people in Jersey that grounded him. You know, the people that all circled around him and said, hey, let's make a movie. Yeah, well, he lives in Hollywood now. He's got his prerequisite one child. He's still together with his wife because, you know, he loves her. Beard. Beard. Sorry, stuck in my throat. So, he did put his Clerks 1 cap on. And you know how I know? Because Clerks 3 has the most recycled material and jokes from its source material. There is a point between being meta and just ripping something the fuck off. And everything that he did in this movie, when the characters did it, seemed like a cringy wink and a nod. Kind of, hey, get this, we're being all meta and shit. You remember that time when we did this in Clerks 1? Well, we're doing it again, but it's not as funny. We're just being self-referential. Yeah. And the weed jokes weren't funny. By the way, just in case you didn't know this, in the state of New Jersey, weed is still illegal. Hey, Blind Press, thanks for stopping by. Thank you, sweetie. And yeah, she's going to start going live in about 5 minutes. So, you need to ramble on there. By the way, you got a wrench. So if you want to drop the link in there, you certainly could do that too. I'm doing this to rant to get it off my damn chest. Because it's not that I'm butthurt. I'm extremely disappointed. Because I was really hoping and crossing fingers that this would be Kevin Smith's redemption. That he would take it seriously. That he would do a wraparound. That he would complete the trilogy. You know, Darth Vader's dead, but he redeemed himself. And then Luke, you know, burned him and sent him to Valhalla. Well, that didn't happen here. And if you guys want me to yell spoilers, then fuck you, because you tuned in to hear what I had to say about it. If you hadn't seen the movie already, you probably shouldn't be watching this anyhow. Or you're too much of a Kevin Smith fan to be like, oh yeah, you know, it's going to be great. Well, it's not great. Even when you're getting dissed by mainstream media, which I had a huge laugh about. They shit all over him. And if you notice, it completely disappeared. It legitimately went poof. There's no reaction. In a month, the reviews came out the same day, it died the same day. And nobody cares. Except for people like me who were extremely disappointed. There were people talking about, and I've had BTS conversations, talking about how poignant it was. It was a trope. It was a cheap pull at the heartstrings. Here's what happens. You ready? You know, don't bother trying to set up camp while I'm doing this, because it ain't going to be that long. After Clerks 2, where Randall and Dante bought the Quick Stop, they're still working at the Quick Stop in their conceivably late 40s, early 50s. And they're actually working behind the counter. Now, there is no Dante's wife because she was killed in a drunk driving accident. Because reasons. Apparently, Rosario Dawson could not actually afford to take time off being paid scale to do this movie. She's in like 3 scenes. So, and that irritating guy from Clerks 2 is there, who worked at the movies with him. So, Randall, while he's flapping his gums, has a heart attack. They take him in, and literally, if you ever listen to Kevin Smith talk about his heart attack, this is a total recreation. Because he was talking about how he had the type of heart attack that they call the Widowmaker. And it's because it kills 80% of the people that have it. Well, Randall survives. And Randall decides, with Dante's suggestion, to make a movie. And he says, yes, I will make a movie. And then for the rest of the time that this movie is going on, Dante is, being a total Chad, making sure that they got funding and they got people to, fill in the parts and all this stuff. While he's being a total fucking rock star, Randall's just being a shit to him the whole time. Just being a total shithead. To the point where he and Dante ends up having a heart attack. How original. Because they set it up that Dante talks to Randall's heart surgeon and says, well, if you've got the same diet he does, then you're in a risk of having a heart attack too. So, you better shape up and get your heart checked. Anyway, Dante has a heart attack. And all of a sudden, Randall feels bad about it. And edits the movie. I don't know if he was editing during, but he edits the movie, gets Jay and Silent Bob to do a distraction, so Randall can sneak into the hospital room and show Dante the movie. Are you ready? The reason why is because Dante dies. Yeah, that's right. The character that you had grown to like so much and that you were legitimately following his path of progression. Kevin Smith kills him. And do you want to know why I think Kevin Smith killed him? It's because he wanted to flesh out the 2 angles of him having a heart attack. The I survived with Randall, and then the oh, woe is me, I died. Everybody mourn for me. I swear he's breaking his own neck trying to suck his own dick. This is total wish fulfillment by him. Just like, and I'm not going to get into it, but just like fucking She-Hulk. It was the writers, so in this case, the writer being a bad writer and writing a self-fulfillment fantasy. He literally survived his own heart attack, but he wanted to write in his head how if he died, this is how his heart attack would be. You can try to tell me I'm wrong, but you better come hard with some good shit. Because as a writer, I sat down, watched this movie. I even watched it twice just because the first version I watched was on cam. So I thought I'd watch it one more time. Accidentally on a pirate site, of course, because I'm not paying him a goddamn cent and haven't paid him one since Red State. I had to get some water. And as I sat there and watched this movie, it was literally, like I said, 70% of it was pulling down the tropes that were cutesy or that gave him a rep in Clerks 1 and shamelessly Clerks 2. Because Clerks 2 wasn't all that good. Matter of fact, it wasn't good at all, in my opinion. Wasn't funny. The only thing that was cool was when I actually bought the DVD, I got a movie's name tag. There, that's it. But it was way, way too self-centered because Kevin Smith said, I always see myself as Randall. Matter of fact, for Clerks 1, he was going to do the part of Randall. I would have rather he understood that the heart of the matter, pardon the angina puns, the heart of the matter was everybody didn't want him to be Randall. Everybody wanted him to be Dante. The guy who has a moral center. The guy who does the right thing. The guy who puts up with his friends because he always wants to be a friend in the end. The guy constantly searching for love and romance. That white picket fence, that little house in the suburb, the 2 cars in the garage, the chicken in the pot. That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. He wanted to be happy with a life, and he didn't get it. And the whole thing about killing his wife, I mean, that's tragic. But when you bring that character back to have ghost talking scenes, no. That's not where you need to go with this character. Clerks 3 should have been a redemption of Kevin Smith. It should have been something incredibly hard-hitting. And you know what? Dante should have been the hero of the story. Instead of this sad sack, bad luck schleprock that gets drunk because they go to movies to film the donkey scene. And he can't handle it because that's where he met his wife. That's where he fell in love with his wife. He can't handle it. So he goes out and gets drunk and then shows up at the convenience store completely drunk. And he tells Randall off. And make no mistake about it. Here's something good that I have to say about the movie. In a sad way. That Brian O'Halloran and, of course, Jeff Anderson acted their fucking hearts out. They sincerely acted their fucking hearts out. And here's the flip side of it. They literally wasted their time on this piece of shit movie. This fantasy actualization of what Kevin Smith wanted. He has no connection to these characters anymore. He's splitting it. he's thrown the woe. Oh, whoa. Randall had a heart attack. Oh my God, no. Now I'm going to make a movie. Really? That's an excuse. Also, one of the things that really got on my last nerve was when Randall left the hospital where Dante was, and he was on life support, ventilated, everything. When he left the hospital, he fucking ran home. A guy who had a heart attack probably somewhere in 2 to 3 months, he ran home. And apparently his home there's a little apartment that's between the Quick Stop and the video rental place. So he ran his ass all the way home. And he didn't die. Or he didn't collapse. I have no idea how he made it back to the hospital to bring the laptop to show Dante the movie he didn't finish watching because he decided, nah, I'll go ahead and die. I mean, seriously? You've helped bankroll some of your friends. You've used some of your shine to get friend stuff. Like one of the things that he promised Jeff Anderson, which he did. He got him a movie that he could write and direct. He got him the funding for the movie, and it was like $600,000. It wasn't a lot of money to make a movie, especially in the early 2000s. So he did that for him, at least, but was it out of guilt? Who knows? And Ben Affleck fucking shows up in this again. Goddamn, Ben, you got better things to do. There's only so long somebody can hold something over your head. Unless you're Shorzy, and that's a completely different subject. But yeah, there's only so long that you can con people in, or use people into doing what you want them to do. You know, kudos that you were a part of helping Jason Mewes kick his heroin addiction. Great. Good on you. That doesn't necessarily say that you're a great guy, because he was your lackey. Jason Mewes was your whipping boy. He was the cartoons that you would turn on when you get stoned. So yeah, you want to make sure that he's around. And honestly, I think you did it more for selfish reasons than you did for his health and security and safety. He was your monkey dancing to your organ grinder tune. So, I give you surface credit for that. That's it. Besides that, I mean, hosting Hollywood Babylon. And I will say this. I have had some artwork. Well, artwork. Okay, you guys got me. Digital compositing that I did that made it onto that show. But I can say this right up front. It's all Kevin. It's not all about Kevin Smith. I mean, he makes his stoner analogies and shit, but Ralph Garman, his co-host, is the guy who really runs Hollywood Babylon. And Jay and Silent Bob Get Old is just miserable to listen to. Smodcast doesn't exist anymore because his producing partner, Scott Mosier, I think just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Matter of fact, you can tell how much of a kinship he strikes because Mosher, I think he walked away after Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He just didn't want to deal with it anymore. It's nothing that he wanted to do. And I don't know if your wife was chasing clout or whatever. But, you know, those are the people who are surrounded by you now. That's it. The people that you con into owning favors and living off the fan base you sincerely created, but now abused like a $10 whore in a western town. Clerks 3 was bad. I'm glad I got to see Brian and Jeff stretch. I'm glad I got to see them act. But it was not necessarily the script that gave them that emotion. You wrote some very trite dialogue. Some shit you would hear on the CW or with Hallmark Family Hour. Yeah, that's better. You wrote shit, and they polished the turd the best they can. I completely and totally appreciate that they were all in. Because, let's face it, these guys would not have mainstream acting jobs if they didn't decide to roll the dice in being the original Clerks. And to be honest with you, I think if Kevin Smith could have got away with it, he would have recast the whole goddamn lot. Found other actors that owe him favors, or that are spellbound by the magic of his career. Damn, I got a dry throat. I've been rambling for an hour and 15 minutes. But it just disappointed me. Like he had a hand reaching out of the void, ready to grasp onto that safety support, and he just said, nah, and fell right back into the void. When you picked on Clownfish TV for the whole He-Man thing, I already knew you were a shill. Once I saw you doing panels at Comic-Con, once I saw you doing the IMDb thing, I already knew you were a shill. But I was still kind of okay with it until you attacked the fandom. You attacked the fandom, fuck off. Everything that you got respect for, you have rendered null and void in the past 5 to 6 years. You have really come out just being a corporate shill. And I don't care what you have to sell. Although, if you would have died, I would have sold the... this is way far back, guys. I would have bought the... I bought for $20 the Jay and Silent Bob action figures that were signed by both of them. And by the way, Kevin Smith's signature is lazy as fuck. That's kind of how you can tell people are really fucking full of themselves. Because they do like a little squiggle for their first initial and then just put a straight line in it. And maybe if there's an I, they'll put a dot somewhere on the squiggle.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
So I'm like an hour and 16 minutes late, but are you still talking about the movie?
Yeah. I had to lay the groundwork for it first before I ripped it a new asshole.
Oh.
It is.
So
It is incredibly soulless. It was created initially to make money, and it's going to make him some money because he's doing the roadshow with it. Even though it's been released in theaters, he's still doing roadshow with it.
That makes sense. Not, I don't know.
And he's just basically cashing in. It is a badly written movie. It is a movie that's a ghost of what he was trying to do in Clerks 1. Clerks 2, nobody knows what the fuck he was really doing. And then this is just garbage. This should have been his opus. This should have been a great conclusion to a trilogy, and all it was a piece of shit, low budget movie making to make him more money.
Yeah, like I get that about the movie. I really do. It was everything you said, but I did like certain sections about it, like like what they did with with the friendship between Randall and Dante, right? To where
Dude, there was literally no friendship until the very end on Randall's side when he had the heart when Dante had the heart attack. There was no friendship there until you got to that fucking point.
Yeah.
And then when he finally acknowledges that he's his best friend, he's dead in under 5 minutes.
Huh.
He even fucking died before the movie was over.
He's like, hey, aren't you gonna stay and watch the ending? Nah, I trust the director, and just dies. Like, yeah, the movie was a disaster. I will give it that.
Well, think about it this way: they were friends in high school, right?
Yeah.
They were just out of high school. Dante was going to college in '93, I think, is when Clerks came out. So 93 to now, that's almost 30 years. Let's go ahead and just give it 30 years because they were friends in high school. They mentioned that.
Yeah.
So for 30 years, he's been taking this shit. For 30 years, he's allowed what he calls his best friend to shit on him. And there's no real explanation why. That's what it should have looped into. Two late 40s, early 50-year-old guys sitting back and going, well, hell, why are we still friends? They could have put depth into it. Instead, no depth. Oh, I almost died of a heart attack. Let's make a movie. Fuck you, Kevin Smith.
I mean, I did find that one part where where Randall's like, "No, we are. Why the fuck are you gonna make the movie black and white?" And Silent Bob is like, he explains why, and it's like, God damn! It was just
Well,
like, what the fuck?
By the way, do you know why they made the movie in black and white?
Because it was cheaper, or because of what?
Because
Okay.
the film stock was cheaper. That's the only reason why they shot it in black and white. There wasn't all this artsy frou-frou shit. People told him that later. He read that shit from reviews and then just naturally filtered it into his mind going, oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
I mean, he stopped keeping it real very early on in the game, and I never really noticed. And I think the moment that not Joe Rogan, but whatever the other Seth Rogen started getting him high on Zack and Mary Make a Porno, because that's when he really started getting high. That's when legitimately everything he was doing. I mean, Red State was iffy, but everything after that fucking tanked.
So he got high on his own. But you say you're saying he stopped trying because he was gonna make money anyway.
Oh, yeah, he learned how to work his fan base.
I mean,
I mean, who else right now is doing road shows? I mean, William Castle's dead, so there's nobody I know of who's doing a fucking road show. And he makes about $50 a pop off of it, depending on where he's at. And then, like I've mentioned, the amount of merchandise he sells at these events it's amazing. It's mind-boggling. He sells He sells more than, rock bands sell at concerts.
well, isn't it kind of immoral what he's doing to his fan base?
As long as they're willing to be masochistic, he will be willing to beat them down with new Funko Pops and new T-shirts. And I think they even came out with a hot sauce. And the hot sauce is like 4 times expensive than anything I would ever use.
Jesus Christ.
And he can fuck right off on that. I'm like, oh yeah, if it's cute.
There's an anti-capitalism. There's an anti-capitalism message here.
Oh no, I honestly believe in capitalism.
I know. I'm just.
I mean, I wouldn't have a Streamlabs if I didn't.
Yeah.
Then again, I have to produce stuff that people want to listen to. So I don't get donoed a lot, but I don't really fucking care. Because of the fact that, I'm basically doing this as a hobby. I ain't hurting anybody by what I'm doing.
True.
There's more than a few of my actual stories that I've written that are out and audio adapted, and hundreds of thousands of people have heard them, but I don't make any money off that. But I do get a buzz at the fact that people will comment and say that they enjoy it. That it's something that they really enjoyed listening to. Unlike the last slew of Kevin Smith films, which are total garbage. I mean, he even admitted that the reason why he wrote Tusk was because he got high on a stream and said, well, hell, converting a guy into a walrus, that sounds great. That sounds like a great idea. And nobody around him had the balls to say, Kevin, you're fucking high. That's a stupid idea. Oh yeah, Alistair. Wait.
He made a movie called Tusk about a guy turning into a fucking walrus. Did he not see? Did he not see the fucking implication of that being trans?
Dude,
I don't know. Go ahead.
He got Johnny Depp to be in it. Like he gave a fuck. People rented that movie and went to see that movie just because Johnny Depp was in it. That's it. I mean, what's his name? Michael Parks was in it too. But I'll be honest with you, I think Michael Parks has been overinflated. I mean, he's a good actor, but he's not like one of the greatest of all times.
Okay, I kind of want to see the movie Tusk now to see how bad it is. Because I don't know. To me, the movie sounds like a trans allegory.
Well, no, it's just a guy who survived being on his own. What the hell's that?
Yeah, sorry, it was noise. My bad. You were saying?
No, it's not a trans allegory. Trust me, it's not.
Okay.
The whole plot line is this guy gets stranded for years, and the only person who befriends him is a walrus. It's a walrus that shows up where he's at, and he talks to him. And that's why he turns the kid into a walrus, is because he wants that relationship again. Stupid.
Okay.
No, Fat Andy. I refuse to talk about yoga hosers.
What the fuck?
Besides saying the biggest piece of garbage. Okay, here's where my masochism comes in. I kept watching Kevin Smith movies. I stopped paying for them at the point of Red State, but I kept watching Kevin Smith movies, hoping and praying he would get back on track, that he would get back to that Kevin Smith that put out Mallrats, that put out Dogma, that did Clerks. And I've already listed why Chasing Amy can fuck off. But I wanted to see that twinkle come back. And his eyes are too fucking glazed over by smoking OG Kush.
You know, a lot of people had problems. I also had problems with him with him regarding He-Man Revelations. Like I do remember seeing that people had a lot of issues with him regarding that show.
Well, because he lied. He bold-faced lied. He never used to watch He-Man, by the way. And he said he was.
Why the fuck would he lie about it?
And he said he was a He-Man fan. Well, he was definitely not a He-Man fan. And when Clownfish TV reported from one of their sources that they were going to do a bait and switch and take He-Man completely out of the story and make it all about SJW Tila, he actually engaged with them and told them, no, that's not the case. It's a lie. And then the show comes out and it's exactly what the leak was.
What the fuck?
And it's like people liked the character Tila by herself.
Is he being held hostage? Like to me, it just seems like Kevin Smith was afraid for his life or something because the network overlord was saying, "You're gonna lie about this. You're gonna lie about this. You're gonna lie about this." I'm like, God damn, bro.
Yeah, he sold out.
Like,
he just legitimately sold out. They said,
Wow.
Here is money. We want your street cred. We want your geek cred. I mean,
fuck that.
Honestly, I smelled bad winds blowing when he started hosting panels that he had no right or no logical reason to actually host.
Can you give an example?
I think one year he hosted like the Supernatural panel.
Okay, why? Is he a Supernatural fan?
It's never been said that he ever was.
Okay.
He did a few more panels. I can't remember the ones that he actually did. But it was basically here's money. We know if this panel isn't enough to get fans in, they'll know that you're hosting it and fans of yours will show up.
Of course.
And they did. They did for a time. And then he started hosting all that shit on online, especially with IMDb and for Netflix. And it's like, dude, just because you wrote a limited series for Daredevil and it wasn't a great series. And then again, he's the same asshole who had to describe how Batman takes care of his toilet habits when he's in the bat suit.
What?
Mm-hmm. He even made him during that mini series with Hush. He made him shit himself. He made Batman
what the fuck?
shit himself.
Why? Just why?
I'm not Kevin Smith. Don't ask me. The only thing I can do is speculate and say that's just another way to emasculate a legendary comic book character.
Was there a story? Oh God, I'm so fucking confused.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not getting into the comic book side of it. His shit was weak. And I mean, I think the only character he created from scratch was a character named Automatopoeia. And I'm just gonna leave that there.
Um. Okay.
So yeah, Clerks 3. I assure you, I'm mourning. It was just a bad movie made by a bad filmmaker who was out of ideas and recycled everything from the movie that made him a star. That's it.
I mean, I will say that it was incredibly fucked up to, incredibly fucked up that that the quote unquote movie that they made was basically just Clerks 1. You notice that? The movie that he played to Dante was just Clerks 1.
Well, that's because it was a better movie.
Yeah, I know, but it was actual clips from the actual Clerks 1. It wasn't the movie they were shooting.
Oh,
You know?
no, because remember, Randall said, "This is how I see us." So that made everything okay to reuse the footage.
uh, wow. Uh,
Dude, I'm telling you, fucking weak sauce. There was no character through line. I mean, Randall kept shitting on Dante, They tried to write in some, "Oh, I'm so sad and I'm talking to the ghost of my dead wife," which landed completely fucking flat. And then the whole thing with, I need you to see this movie before you die. Once again, that's Randall being selfish.
yeah.
I mean, when Dante turns on him and is like, "Fuck you and fuck all of this, I'm out of here." If he was his best friend, it never would have gotten to that point. Never. But they weren't best friends. They were two guys in a codependent relationship that clung to each other for God knows what reason, because apparently Dante never had any self-confidence and Randall never had any tact.
Hmm.
And that's why
Yeah, I see. I see what you're saying.
I mean, it would have been awesome had he turned, because it's self-actualization. It's him basically playing out both of his heart attack fantasies. One that he survived and one that he had this glorious death. When it should have been, Dante gives him the "fuck you" speech, walks out, and then he shows up the next day because he has to work, because it's his fucking store. And he should turn to Randall and say, "Listen, I shouldn't even be working here today or ever." And then, like adults, like the bromance that's been going on for those other two movies, they should have been able to consummate it. Not fuck, but say,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I get you, man. And honestly, I can't finish this film without you. You know, you are my Luke." But no, Kevin Smith had to have the masturbatory die from a heart attack fantasy. He had to have it. And I'm sure he patted himself on the fucking back going, "Oh, isn't this great? Isn't this, oh, well, he's dying and he's watching it with his dead wife? No, it doesn't matter. What mattered was getting that relationship strengthened again.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because
Like, and honestly, I was really pissed off at Randall to be, it's like, hey, you know what, you stay here, and let me know how things go. I'm gonna go finish my movie, and I forget the guy's name. It's like, fuck you, Randall. It's like,
Elias.
Elias, thank you. I bad with names. Elias is like, fuck you, Randall. Stay here. He's your best friend. Like, even Elias was calling him out. Like, I agree with you. Randall was a fucking asshole in the movie. Okay, you had a heart attack. I sympathize, but
that's the whole thing. It should have never got to that gimmicky bullshit of him having a heart attack. Dante should have never had the heart attack. It should have been, all right, fuck you, and he leaves. But Kevin Smith was not strong enough to write anything other than, oh, okay, we'll just make Dante die. Really? Fucking really? That's how weak of a goddamn writer you are? You're supposed to be using Randall's heart attack as a springboard to make him a better person. And you spent no time doing that. Except for that very brief end when he was afraid that he was going to lose the only other guy that can stand him and have a little bit of humanity. Like I was saying, Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson acted their ass off. They did a hell of a job on a movie that was total dog shit. And it was wasted. It was wasted effort. Because you know what? Clerks 3 is going to go down the memory hole. It's going to be long forgotten very quickly.
I mean, I don't think Kevin Smith cares as long as he's getting his sweet cheddar.
Oh, he's been teasing Clerks 3 for over a decade. And he's and he had the funding for it. He could have got the funding at any time. If he would have got up off his ass, he has his own money, and he could have made it. He could have made it all by himself, self-funded. But since he caused that rift with Jeff Anderson, not going to happen. By the way, Kevin Smith is reportedly worth $25 million.
Shit, I wish I had $25 million.
He could have legitimately remade this movie without any issue. And probably done it under $10 million. But he didn't. This legitimately has no heart, no soul. It's one of those, oh, did I fuck up? Oh, what? He makes what? $700,000 a year? And I'm betting that doesn't even count all the merchandising and sales that he does. Fuck, even Jason Mewes is supposedly worth $1 million.
And I'm worth nothing.
Oh, dude, do you realize how long you could live on $1 million?
I mean, in today's economy, it's like, okay, I don't have that many expensive tastes. So for me, I could probably live on $1 million for maybe 5 years, a little longer. Actually,
$1 million? I'd pay my rent 10 years in advance and die before that.
Right? Yeah, I would definitely do that. If I had $10 million, I'd be like, hey, here you go. Here's the rent. Here's the rent for the next 10 years. Don't bother me anymore.
By the way, did you know that Johnny Depp is uncredited in Tusk?
Really?
Yeah, because he didn't want to piss off his agents by taking this movie.
But he's in the movie itself. People know he's in the movie. What the fuck is the difference if he's not like Hollywood? What? I don't know. Hollywood is weird.
Because his agents would have given him a shit ton of shit and read him out the riot act saying, listen, this fucker's definitely on the outs in Hollywood. Fuck him. Don't do this movie. But, you know, the only reason why he did the movie was because his daughter got a part in it.
I see.
And then, of course, Yoga Hosers, his daughter had a part in that too. Main role. I mean, it's kind of cool when you give friends parts, but there has to be a point when nepotism stops.
Yep.
And I mean, seriously, in Jay and Silent Bob reboot, when his wife came out as one of the female burglars, I'm just like, oh, fucking forget it. No. Yeah, she would be the last one in the line to bang. And honestly, I'd be worn out by the time I got to her and just gave her a pass. I've had enough pussy in my life. I can afford to pass up a few.
So what's your kill count?
What?
What's your kill count?
Oh, dude, the moment I ran out of fingers and toes in my 20s, I stopped counting.
God damn.
Yeah, because in my age, you could be as perverted as you want, as long as you wore a condom. Because Gen Xers grew up in the age of AIDS. Now, AIDS, apparently it's not so bad anymore.
I mean, with all the between all the antivirals and supposed vaccines coming out, you know what I mean?
Dude, do you realize that Magic Johnson has had AIDS for what, almost 40 years? He's still alive.
Yeah, I thought his AIDS were cured or something.
No. AIDS is controllable. It's kind of like herpes. If you get herpes, herpes never goes away. But there are ways that you can control it from breakouts.
I wonder why herpes never goes away. Why does it stay in your body? Like, what the fuck does it do? Does it just hijack a certain? I don't know. Interesting.
It's a virulent strain. It's a bacteria. It's a bacillus. It doesn't go away. They haven't found anything that would be able to kill it yet. I mean, what was it? That was one of the things that Tommy Lee broke out on Pamela Anderson when they were getting a divorce. That she gave him herpes. So there you go. There's some more histrionic shit that you guys will forget 10 minutes after the show's over with. And yeah, I will say this, Jack. He's saying that they needed a stormtrooper wedding. They actually did do the fake stormtrooper wedding in Clerks the Animated Series. And Clerks the Animated Series wasn't bad, but the only reason why it wasn't bad was because they had a writing staff. If it would have been just Kevin Smith, then I could see why that thing should have been canceled. But I've watched the 6 episodes.
Yeah, so did I. They were kind of they were bizarre. Let me just put it that way.
Well, I mean,
Why are we walking like this? Well played, Clerks. They tried to introduce Leonardo. Leonardo is like this fucking super villain. That's their arch nemesis or something.
Well, no, who was it? Fucking his last name is Mandel, not Howie, but Mandel was actually a comedy writer at the time, and they also even brought in Paul Dini, who was a Batman writer for a long time.
Yep, he actually introduced Harley Quinn to the Batman the Animated Universe.
He did.
Universe.
He did. He also co-created Amazing Man, which was a pretty cute comic book, and he wrote all the best. Legitimately, he wrote all the best Batman the Animated Series episodes.
Yep, Paul Dini is a god.
And he's a fucking nice guy. I've met him in real life. He's very nice. He's very humble. But then again, most of the writers that you meet, unless they're SJW psychopaths, in comics, which most of them are now, but anytime you meet a writer from comic books, they're really usually very humble, hat in hand. Stan Lee included.
So hey, I gotta ask you, what do you think? What do you think of Bruce Timm and his whole, and his whole thing by having Batman date Batgirl? That whole storyline that a lot of people really took issue with.
Dude, I walked away with from that just like I walked away from bisexual gay Superboy. Or
bisexual gay Superboy. Okay, that.
No, he started off being bisexual, and then he turned gay, and then his book got canceled. It's the same thing. If you're a lesbian, then that doesn't make you the best actress to play Batwoman. Because you know what? Actors act. They play. They do make believe. Was Tom Hanks in Philadelphia gay?
I mean, no.
No. Was he retarded in Forrest Gump?
No. That's debatable.
That's the thing. Actors fucking act. So it should always be, and I know this is getting off subject a little bit, it should always be based as a meritocracy. The best person for the job. Because you can just phrase it this way. If you're going in to have a sketchy surgical procedure, you want the best person available. Not the best. Insert some diversity here. Although I will say, Indian doctors have been like A+ all the way across the board for me.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I'm a little racist. If I see an Indian doctor, I feel much more relaxed about life. That they're going to do surgery on me.
So you're a positive racist. Is it better to be a positive racist than a negative racist?
No, Dina. This is where the spin comes in. Saying something like that means in the minds of those who are looking to pick a fight that you are downgrading or harassing those that aren't Indian.
Well, that's weird.
That you're saying, no, that's how their logic works.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's...
I mean, it's just the same thing as when somebody goes, I'm not a racist. I have black friends. It's like, why did you step in that bear trap, dude? That's why anytime somebody gives me shit, I'm like, listen, I'm not a racist. I'm a bigot. I'm an old school bigot. Before they changed the definition to include, you think you're morally superior to the different races, colors, or creeds. I think when I'm morally superior to somebody, yeah, I will shit on them. I will hands down shit on them because it takes a lot to get my ire up. But once my ire's up, I will fucking shit all over you. Unless that's something that you like, then I won't do that. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing. You know, my opinion is my opinion. And nobody should be able to take me to task over it. I think Clerks 3 sucks. I think it's a waste of time. It's not even one of those guys that I would recommend as a popcorn movie just to say that you saw it. That's like going to a leper colony and getting leprosy and say, well, at least I visited the leper colony. No.
Wow.
No, this is fucking cancer that I hope kills his career. Because he deserves nothing from this point because he did not respect his own characters.
Like, Jesus Christ.
By the way, Fat Andy, did you ever see her Playboy spread?
Who?
Jen Schwalbach, Kevin Smith's wife. She did a layout in Playboy. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. She got one picture. They were doing women superheroes, and Kevin Smith volunteered his wife, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it," which makes me feel even more like this is a marriage of convenience. Because they're not popping out kids or anything. It's like, oh, one and done. And any guy who continually brags about his wife loving his cock, even when he keeps saying he has a small dick, there's a problem.
I mean, I really thought that was like too much. Like, okay, oh hey Doc, I have a small penis. Oh, okay, was I supposed to laugh? Like it. I mean, I remember there was a joke in the animated series where they go to the high school reunion and Randall finds out that all the women he slept with are now lesbians, and he takes that as a fucking win. It's like, yes, all the women I've had sex with are lesbians. That means I was their best. God damn it!
No. That means that after me, they couldn't handle being with another man. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
And once again, it's funny, but it's goddamn nearsighted. Because you know that was something that Kevin Smith came up with. Oh yeah, well they're all gay now. It's like, do you understand your own homosexuality? Come on, Kevin. Really? Seriously?
Not really.
I mean, if you're attracted to the pussy, that's fine. If you're attracted to the cock, that's fine. And guess what? It doesn't make a difference if you're a man or a woman. If you like both of them, good for you. You've doubled your chances.
Yes.
So, you know what? I've never really found, like, everybody's been daring me to watch, what's it called? Boys? God damn it. It's a movie that was made for like $40 million. It's not The Boys, the superhero thing. It's about it's just a come on, chat, help me out.
Jesus? I don't know.
I'm gonna try to look it up.
You know, I'm actually surprised nobody joined your stream. It's like I guess nobody gave a shit about Clerks 3.
Oh no, they shit on it hardcore, and then they just left it be.
Yeah. Well.
Wait a minute. No, it's not a Korean movie, you fuckwads. If it was a Korean movie, it really wouldn't get seen. Oh God, there were people, and this guy was out and blaming people for not coming, like being homophobes and all this shit.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking, bro. Bros,
Was it
bros.
Bros?
Yeah, yes, I think it was bros.
Because this guy was a complete and total piece of shit about it. It's like, you know what? You could have told a gay centric movie that was focused at a gay audience. Because guess what? Gay people will sometimes go to gay movies. Woo. Wow. You know what? Not a lot of, I'm not even going to say white people, because it's all races. You guys are only maybe 1%. Target yourself towards your audience. You know what? Tom Cruise makes Mission Impossible movies completely targeted to that adrenaline action movie junkie. And they make a lot of money because you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are adrenaline action type junkies that are going to take their girlfriends to it.
Da 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 da.
You know what?
Da 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 da.
Let's see. Okay. You want to know the plot? Wow. This thing's
Yeah.
deep. Two men with commitment problems attempt a relationship. That's it.
I'm pretty sure Brokeback Mountain did it better.
Well, I mean, Brokeback Mountain was fascinating because they talked about the relationship. And a relationship that was at that time forbidden, that they could not have. That's no longer the case anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you get modern gay males 20 years down the road from now, and they'll be like, well, what the fuck was the big deal about this movie?
Right.
I mean, I know gay people. Why was this forbidden? What the hell's going on with this movie? That's the thing. Things can be time dated, but actual true action points, plots, you set them up, then you wrap them up in a very nice, colorful bow of thoughtful writing. And honestly, I'd like to see Kevin Smith off the pot to see if he could write something. And until the day he comes out and actually apologizes for Clerks 3 and says, I quit smoking pot, I'm really going to make an effort to make a great movie, maybe I'll give it a chance, but it's unlikely.
I mean, shouldn't he apologize for lying, for lying about the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
Oh, no.
Or He-Man Revelation?
No, because he said he was misunderstood.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And
you
then-
lied.
And then he's actually made up this whole rigmarole about how, we thought about it at the beginning, like, what would happen if He-Man gets taken out of action? When no, that was not that's what happened, but that was not the motivating factor. The motivating factor was to show that Tila was a better He-Man than he could ever be. And what's funny is they backed off on her best friend, quote unquote. They backed off on them actually confirming that they had a relationship and they were lesbians because they got so much heat. They edited dialogue. How's that for some bullshit?
Yeah.
Dude, if somebody gave me a decades established franchise and I wasn't a fan or I was a periphery viewer, I would straight up go back and say, give me the library. You know, I have to write Plastic Man. Okay, give me the omnibus of Plastic Man so I can read him and understand him, so I can write him. I mean, it's not just some big guy with a fucking cosmic sword. Just like IDW, they turned all of the G.I. Joe people into trans people or gay, and then they actually had an overweight lesbian Samoan as one of the characters.
What?
Oh yeah, the fucking nightmare. It's a total fucking nightmare. And you know, even though this is kind of an IRS. I tell you what, guys, just for you, I won't send you the movie poster of Bros. Let's see if I can find the picture. And by the way, not to really be mean to his daughter, but there has been a lot of money put towards making her attractive.
Neat.
And legitimately, it's one of those. This was supposed to be Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and holy fuck, it's about, you know, essentially their kids.
Wait, what movie?
Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
But wait, is it out already?
Reboot? Yeah, it came out in 2019.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it.
That's okay. It's really not worth the effort. One of those, oh, I missed it. Okay. Wasn't one of those where, you know, Star Wars, I'm waiting in line.
Makes sense.
I haven't waited in line for anything except for Pink Floyd tickets back in the 80s. Matter of fact, I can confidently say 1988. And goddamn, was that a good time. We got there when, because all the ticket masters were in Sears back then. So we showed up and got in line at the Ticketmaster at about 4 o'clock the day before they went on sale. And
so hey Doc, do you want some private dating chat girls? I'm just looking through the chat now. Like, what the fuck?
By the way, for my only no context tweet on this is Kevin Smith's wife naked.
I don't see a picture.
I tweeted it.
Oh, am I following you still?
I don't know. I don't follow me. I rarely get on fucking Twitter. Twitter can suck my metaphorical dick.
I mean,
it is a horrible place to be, and I don't know, man. If Elon Musk is buying it, then
I heard he's not anymore, so you're safe.
Well, no, they said once again that he's gonna buy it.
Oh, we should make up his mind.
That they did a reevaluation. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I would not pay money. Wait a minute. How much are they charging on YouTube to watch Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
Brace yourself. You're about to meet our love child.
It's funny, she doesn't even look like Kevin Smith. His daughter, that is. Fuck off with the preview. How much do you want to charge someone for watching this fucking movie? Oh, no. Don't leave it a mystery. They're not even telling you how much. Okay, wait a minute. If I want to buy it and have it for life, it's $10. If I want to rent it, it's $4.
Okay.
If I want to pirate it, it's free.
I mean, why would you wanna? Why would you wanna pirate it?
Because I'm not going to pay for it.
True.
Like I said, I haven't paid for a Kevin Smith movie since Red State. And I don't intend to anytime in the future. He gave me some hope when my brother took me to the road show for Jay and Silent Bob reboot. But I should have known just by the quality, quote unquote, the content of Jay and Silent Bob reboot, what he was going to do with Clerks 3, which was make some bullshit rehash, throw some sappy saccharin at the end, and call it a good movie.
Well, that's what he did. You were right. You're a prophet.
Nah, dude, it's just easy spotting trends. It's like nobody likes to go to the movies with me to see a mystery movie or sit down and watch a TV show that, that has a mystery. Because I'll usually call it within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Well, it's like the first minutes of Usual Suspect, and it kind of ruined it for me. Because I'm like, dude, that's Kaiser Soze right there. It can't be anybody else but him.
Jesus. Remember never to watch movies with you, Doc.
And
you ruined the shit out of them.
And it's funny, too. The chick that I was watching it with, we get to the very end of it, and she slaps me. She's like, you fucker.
Well-deserved slap.
I'm like, hey, you know what? It's one of those things. One of the few movies that actually fucking caught me off guard that I was not ready for was Fight Club. I did not get the Fight Club vibe until the very reveal.
Really?
Yeah, until they revealed the Tyler Durden. I didn't understand it because I was thinking not as, well, these people have mental health issues. I was thinking all of these people were free thinkers. All of these people didn't have another personality. Yeah, sorry if I'm spoiling it, but the movie's 23 fucking years old. Grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't suspect split personality. And it caught me, and I'm like, oh, well played, Clerks. Well played.
God, I love that fucking thing from the from the series, cartoon series.
Dude, it's the last.
They tried so hard.
Dude, it's the last good thing Alec Baldwin ever did.
Oh wow.
Because he was Leonardo.
I just...
Because they actually, and they say this in the commentary, they actually tried to get Snape. They tried to get Hans Gruber. They tried to get Alan Rickman to do Leonardo. But
that didn't work.
But well, he might have also been holding a grudge because the wings that they made him wear in Dogma actually hurt his back for the rest of his life.
Oof.
But who cares?
Well,
he helped make Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is like one of my favorite Rickman movies.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Harry Potter and the Dirty Jockstrap series can fuck right off. I don't care. I liked him. I would pick Robin Hood over fucking Harry Potter. Because he played an awesome sheriff of Nottingham. And why is it that when you, no, never mind. Not even gonna go there. You guys got your one. You guys got your one no context tweet. That's all you're getting tonight. Yeah, good God. I talked 2 hours on the fall of Kevin Smith and the shit that Clerks 3 is.
Oh wow! I just looked at Google and yeah, that's Kevin Smith's daughter
No,
banging Superman.
no, that's wife.
Oh,
They said he could
wife.
be in it. And he said no, because he's fat and he doesn't want to be in it. So he came up with this whole fantasy. What if my wife was Lois Lane?
Okay.
So that's how that picture originated.
Orcs and elves can coexist. God damn it.
No, because I've not watched a single frame of Rings of Power. So, yeah. Just not even going to bother to entertain it. Rings of Power can piss the fuck off. And the worst part is when I get packages from fucking Amazon, it's always advertising Rings of Power. And I was like, no. I've had Amazon Prime and I've watched 2 series on it. I watched The Boys and I watched Invincible.
Oh, I love Invincible.
Yeah, but it's going to take them another 2 years to put out season 2.
Oh, why?
It took them like a full year to do the animation.
Oh, wow.
And they weren't prepared. They were actually thinking this would have been a throwaway, that it wouldn't have amounted to anything. They were wrong. Now, if they do bring out another Kirkman show, I really want them to do Battle Pope. If you haven't read Battle Pope, go read Battle Pope. It's a limited series.
Hey, hold on. Let me remove because I sent you something on Twitter, but you're not gonna be able to see it until I unlock my my account. All right. Check on Twitter.
Do I have to?
I mean, yeah, I sent you something funny.
Oh, okay. Take a look. I got the recent tweet from Jeffrey Combs.
You might wanna refresh because I just took off protected tweets.
I did refresh. All of it's giving me is Jeffrey Combs. I tried to get him on the show to interview him, but no luck so far. He's got some good handlers.
Okay. Let me try doing that again.
Oh wait, I caught this. And by the way, you fuckers think that Ezra Miller's going to go to jail? I don't think he is. Oh God.
You finally get my tweet?
No, Harrison Ford is taking over the role of General Ross. Why?
I don't know.
William Hurt's not dead. I mean, is he? Let me take a look. Is William Hurt dead? Oh, okay. He died. He died back in March. Damn. Butt cancer. Bummer.
All right, look at it. Look on Twitter again.
He could have played Thunderbolt Ross forever.
You get it?
Yeah, I agree with it.
Right?
Oh, I've had a lot of BTS conversations about how the She-Hulk completely destroyed the Marvel universe. If you think about it in a literal sense, she did, because she leapt into our reality and made the story change to her will. That's another thing that proves that some writers have no fucking clue what they're doing. They wanted to pull off this whole cutesy Deadpool, or, She-Hulk was legitimately the very first one to do a fourth wall break. Besides, the old school DC where they'd finish up some campy story and Superman would wink at the crowd or wink at the audience. But yeah, when she would yell at people, or when she'd break the fourth wall, it wasn't to piss and moan about the story or about the episode going on. When she'd break the fourth wall, She-Hulk was yelling at the writer and the editors, talking about how they're basically putting her into different circumstances. She even yelled at them because one villain that they brought up was Dr. Bong, and she just turned around and looked at the and looked at the audience and goes, "Really? Seriously? The Fantastic Four get Doctor Doom, and I get Dr. Bong?" So it is wink and a nod, familiarity with the audience. And She-Hulk legitimately had zero familiarity with her audience. They gave the writers give us no reason to like her at all, unless you wanted to fuck 7-foot green horse. I mean, I had to blow my nose. Did you realize that she fucked more times than she fought? She spent more time looking for pussy than or looking for dick than being in the courtroom. She is, if I remember the title correctly, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And fucking when Daredevil showed up, Matt Murdock schooled her in 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And got the case thrown out. That means she's a bad lawyer.
I mean, it's also that the writers even said they didn't know how to write courtroom scenes. That's why the first episode literally ends with Titania busting through the courtroom, because it's like, yuck.
Dude, the only thing that Jessica Gao can take credit for is being the head writer for the Pickle Rick episode. And that episode was not that funny. Matter of fact, it really wasn't funny at all to me. And then them sitting down in fucking therapy. Oh yeah, I can see how you wrote that part, because it's utterly unfunny.
I mean, I don't think the therapy scene was supposed to be funny, right? I think it was just a way to deconstruct Rick's behavior, because that scene wasn't really supposed to be funny.
No,
right?
But they were trying to throw jokes in there. Didn't happen.
I mean, true. The whole brushing my teeth and wiping my ass being boring. That, yeah, I could see them, trying to throw jokes in there, but it's like, I don't know. It's the entire episode is just fucking insane. Anyway,
I mean, like, him building a bionic rat suit, not building a bionic rat suit for a pickle. Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm Pickle Rick. Everybody's pissed. Everybody loves that fucking Pickle Rick episode for some reason.
Dude, I fucking cringed the minute I heard somebody outside of that show yell Pickle Rick. And then all of a sudden I start seeing merchandise. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Anything to make money.
But yeah, I think I'm pretty much done on the topic, guys and gals. I might go watch Toy Galaxy's The Weirdest Controversial History of Monster Cereals.
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I grew up during the time when monster cereals were popular.
Hmm.
You know, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, Boo Berry, Yummy Mummy, and I forget what the wolf was. I wish I could remember what the wolf was. Because one of the characters was a wolf. Let me see. I'm just going to briefly, I'll listen. I didn't like, oh, Fruit Brute. That's what it was, Fruit Brute. I always forget that fourth one. Yeah, I think they still do Frankenberry and Count Chocula, but only every so often do they bring out Yummy Mummy again. And I haven't seen Fruit Brute in forever. Although I will recommend, guys, Corn Chex has an apple cinnamon Corn Chex. Don't bother. And also there's a Very Berry Cheerios. Ugh. But don't do it. That's all I gotta say.
Yep.
So, Athena, do you have anything that you'd like to add before I kill this?
Not really.
Yeah.
Just thanks for having me on for the last hour and a half.
You've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I came in at 11 or 11:16. I've been.
Yeah, and it's only 12:30.
Yeah.
You didn't make it to an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I was just adding street cred, I guess.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, hey, everybody, this was just me ranting. Now, if you don't know, I do have an actual Twitch stream. And the Twitch stream is something that's incredibly different. Because, well, here. Why don't I show you? Wait a minute. Let's crank up the Unity engine. Okay, thanks, Unity.
Boo! Unreal Engine is better. Boo!
Here. I'll switch it over. This is what it looks like when I'm doing my gaming.
Okay, hold on.
And of course,
damn it, I closed it.
And of course, you can see my mouth move. You can see my
1
eyes.
second.
You can see my eyes winking.
I want to see. Where is it? I don't see it.
It should be coming up. There it is. That took a minute. Took a fucking hot second.
Oh, there we go. Old guy
YouTube
plays.
is slow.
Yep.
Oh, here, wait. Sex fine with friends. Let's hide user on this channel. Goodbye. Yep, that's what my that's what my gaming stream looks like.
Nice.
My doc talks and he blinks. So that's all thanks to Samaji. Yeah, I'll stream over on Twitch. I'm playing old games. Like right now, I left it up. Right now, I'm playing Master of Monsters from the Sega Genesis.
Nice.
It's a turn-based game from 1991, and you'll see I'm a little different. I'm a little more peace of mind when I'm doing this. So, if you get the druthers, you can always come over and watch. But yeah, hey, thanks for stopping by. Everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Go over and watch AP. I think Blind Press is still streaming too, so go watch one of those two people. I recommend. And now it's time for me to leave. I'll just say, yeah, fuck off, Kevin Smith. Stop creating any type of content unless you get a soul back. So, bye. And we're out.
Okay.